Hello, this is Dhruv from Ayurveda Sokyam. And just to introduce ourselves real quick, we are an Ayurveda based wellness company based out of Gandhinagar in Gujarat, in India, of course. And we are particularly focused on food and nutrition. That's really where where we direct our interests in Ayurveda. And hence, we also focus on the problem of weight loss. And today we are going to present on a particular problem with dieting and contemporary diets, and that is digestion problems related to or caused by dieting, and eventually they lead to dieting failure. So we are going to discuss dieting failure and digestion problems. Okay. So now, what exactly do we mean by that? Well, simply put, we are discussing the situation where you commit to a certain diet, especially one that consists of quote unquote these healthy foods, which, by the way, might not be very typical or normal for you. You don't find them very satiating. You did not grow up eating them. They did not make part of your typical meal generally, but you're eating them mostly to lose weight, and you've seen other people do it for health reasons. So you embark on this new diet with these new kinds of foods, eliminating the foods you previously used to eat because you think they're unhealthy and they're not helping you meet your health goals. Now, these new healthy foods help you to some extent, whether they're salads or sprouts or any of these categories of foods. They might help you a little bit in losing weight, but then over a period of time you start running into problems. You don't find them satisfying enough. You find it very difficult to stick to this diet, and you find that your diet keeps on collapsing again and again. You keep on failing at sticking to it, and it also starts hurting your digestion. You don't digest food as well. Your digestive rhythms are not as smooth as they used to be. You start having craving issues. May or may not start having craving issues, but definitely you feel that there's something off with your food, and this can go to the extent that now you have to stop this diet altogether. Okay, one fine day you come back to normal food, and now you find that you really cannot get back on that diet again. You just can't tolerate it anymore, and with it, all your health goals and weight loss goals are lost too. So this is a pretty frustrating situation where it might seem there's no way out. All right. So if you have found yourself in this situation, you essentially, you've tried a few diets and you haven't really succeeded with weight loss. You've done some half successful weight loss attempts, or you've seen other people try these health foods, and you're wondering, should you be eating more salads and not your regular food? So this presentation will be especially relevant for you, and if this has become a problem, you'll definitely find some solutions out of what we're going to present. Okay, so very quickly, let's get into the root of the problem. Where does this whole problem come from? Why are these healthy foods not easy to adapt yourself to? Okay, and at the root of this is there's a phrase that I really like. It's called the food type fallacy. Okay, I heard Dr. Mike Israetel of Renaissance Periodization. It's a really great YouTube channel. You can check him out. I heard him use this the first time. And this food type fallacy, especially in context of weight loss or maintaining your weight, is that some foods are supposedly really good for weight loss, so you should maximize on their intake. These are typically your salads. There are some raw foods and your high protein sprouts, especially if you're vegetarian. And then there are the bad foods, okay? And especially for Indians, these bad foods are, cow ghee and cooking oil. So what happens is that if you commit too much to this food type fallacy, if you become too loyal to it, this will end up completely altering your food intake patterns, your meal compositions, and everything about your diet. And you will eventually end up eating more and more raw food or dried food, and you really need to question, what effect this has on your digestion. From an Ayurvedic point of view, which is what we are going to discuss, ironically, Ayurveda does not recommend eating raw or dry foods too much. Okay, Ayurveda proposes that your food should be unctuous. Okay, it should be greasy for it to be easy to digest, and that's why in all traditional Indian cooking, you will see that a lot of ghee or a lot of cooking oil is used. For example, high protein food like dal. Okay, dal always uses a tadka of ghee, basically, a treatment of ghee and spices, or cooking oil and spices to make it consumable. Sprouts of moong beans and of garbanzo beans is not really traditional Indian food in that sense, and there's a reason behind it. It's basically very difficult to digest, and it's very difficult to sustain over a long term as a staple regular food as part of your main meals. So that's the first thing, that Ayurveda really discourages raw foods and sprouts and salads, especially green leafy vegetables. It recommends very strongly that you should be cooking them with some kind of an oil before consuming them. And a lot of modern research regarding anti-nutrients and things like that has also sort of started shedding light on these problems with raw foods. And ghee is not something that should be limited to cooking only. You should also use it wherever you can. Basically, it's a highly revered substance in Ayurveda, at least, with lots of benefits. And whether it's servings of your food, whether it is your rice, or whether it's your chapatis and rotis and your carbs, or even with some of your more high protein preparations with soya or paneer, all these things, cooking them with ghee, if possible, and if not, the next preference is cooking oil. And ghee, of course, you can also add it on top separately on servings as well. So as we discussed, after ghee, there's cooking oil. You can use cold pressed sesame oil, or there is mustard oil. If you're into South Indian cooking, of course, there's coconut oil. And this is especially if some people might be having trouble with preparations in refined oil. So definitely one of these traditional cold pressed oils might work out for you. They were trying. And of course, once we talk about ghee and cooking oil and that you should use them, the obvious question that comes up is these are 100% fats and they have cholesterol in them and all this, and they will make you gain weight. They sort of defeat the entire purpose, right? So here we come back to the food type fallacy. And why are we calling it a fallacy? Why is this division between healthy foods and unhealthy foods for weight loss? Why is it wrong? Because ultimately your weight loss depends on your total caloric intake on a daily or even weekly basis. Okay, that is what will decide whether you gain weight or lose weight or maintain weight. So that is where your effort and investigation should go, instead of restricting entire food categories and completely altering your diet into something that's not really suitable and sustainable for you, and it's not very satisfying either. So this obviously leads to a discussion on caloric counting and what it is. Calorie counting is, well, you need to count your calories. And how does it happen? You basically weigh your food. You need to weigh the ingredients that go into each meal, into each recipe. You need to count the weight of every recipe, and eventually each and every serving that you take from it has to be weighed too. So if you're counting calories on a regular basis, you will be using some of these apps which are quite convenient now, whether it's MyFitnessPal or Chronometer or even Healthify Me has an app now. And there will be a food weighing scale on your dining table and also on your kitchen counter as well. So there's a bit of a lifestyle change that this involves, but it's entirely worth it, and it is certainly less problematic than drastically altering your diet. Okay, so there is counting involved and all this, but it makes your diet options very, very flexible, and that is really an advantage which makes calorie tracking sort of worth considering very seriously. So like I said, what other advantages does caloric tracking have? It also allows, if you're trying to lose weight, it also allows very precise control over reducing the number of calories to lose weight. Otherwise, the only thing you have without any kind of measurement is just judgment. Okay, so you'll always end up overshooting. Okay, you'll drastically reduce your calories because you really want to feel that you're a little hungry and you're losing weight. So crash dieting is the only option. So you're either crash dieting or you're kind of not really losing weight up to your satisfaction. Really, it's not really giving you results. So you'll be swinging between these two options if you don't measure your food. And other than that, even for basically healthy outcomes with regards to your health, You also need to take into account your macro intake, which is basically how much protein you're taking, how many carbs, and how many fats, especially protein if you're trying to lose weight or general health improvement. And you definitely need to measure your protein intake to get your numbers right. So your nutrient intake automatically happens once you start counting your calories. Okay, so what are we going to do? Just to go it quickly, we are going to be using ghee and cooking oil in our foods, to the extent that we want, and what makes our food more sane and palatable for us. And we basically manage our weight related issues and fat concerns through caloric counting and caloric budgeting of the entire meal and over the entire day. Going beyond ghee and cooking oil and cooking fats, the other thing is also a traditional piece of advice, which is the use of spices. And spices are, well, essentially they are digestive aids before contributing to taste. Their original role is really helping you digest things, especially spices which belong to the three taste categories. If they are sour, or if they are hot and pungent, like chilies and ginger, or if they're salty, like most salts. All these three elements, Ayurveda considers them to contain the fire element in it, and it's supposed to aid digestion. Okay, and in practical application they do help. So if we talk about sour tasting digestive aids, there's curd, there's vinegar, there is amchur powder, which is your dried mango powder, and what else? There is tamarind imli used in various sauces and directly in foods all over India. So they are definitely very powerful digestive aids. Of course, they need to be used in certain moderation, because sour substances can overwhelm you a little bit if you exceed them in a certain quantity. Similarly, for hot digestive aids, the most popular one is, of course, chilies, whether it is red or green. More healthier options are basically adding ginger to your food, or black pepper, or even long pepper. And a combination of ginger powder, black pepper, and long pepper is known as trikatu. There are the three hot substances in Ayurveda. You can also try trikatu powder if you want to, or try these things separately. So that is what these three kinds of digestive aids are. And of course, the salt, the common salt, a little bit. It's not just a taste aid; it actually aids in digestion. If sodium is a concern, you can regulate it a little bit. And worth mentioning is the famous Sendha Namak, the Himalayan pink rock salt. It's held in quite the reverence in Ayurveda, so it's worth mentioning here. So that's about spices and sour, hot, and salty substances. Vinegar is another one, like we said, for sour substances. It's especially used in Chinese food, for example. That's how Chinese food handles a lot of digestion problems, through vinegar. And what else? Yeah, so these things, combining your cooking oil, your ghee, used within a system of caloric tracking, and then your spices. And the third is, if you're facing problems like constipation, for example, if that's become an issue for you, sometimes the physical, mechanical texture of the food can also be sort of broken down a little bit, especially for these very chunky and hard foods, like a chunk of paneer, or a chunk of tofu, for example. They can certainly be ground down to a paste, or they can be sort of grinded a little bit and mixed with other substances and turned into a patty or something. So you can make these kinds of cooking changes in their preparation as well, and see what works for you. So these were the big alterations that you can do in your food, and they will bring big effects if at all this has been the problem in your diet. And if you want to go further, there are still some more tips and tricks from Ayurveda. One big one, and of course here we are going to talk about avoiding a certain food, but this is not a food type fallacy, because we're not talking in terms of weight loss, we're talking in terms of what you can easily digest. So a big one on this list is milk. Okay, milk, according to Ayurveda fully recognizes that milk is not easy to digest for people with weak digestions. If your digestion has gone off the rails a bit, you might as well try avoiding milk entirely. Okay, even if you add it in your tea and all, just try eliminating it and see if it works out for you. Milk is certainly a very digest from the angle of digestion is a very expensive substance. It does not help your digestion in any way, but sort of really taxes it. But this is not true for other milk derivatives. Like ghee is the exact opposite. Okay, it will really improve your digestion, and the same thing goes for curd and butter. So all these other milk derivatives are not that problematic, but milk itself is, and it is worth trying to sort of avoid it and minimize it a little bit. What else? You can optimize your meal times more. Once you have ghee and cooking oil and all these things that we've spoken of, these things will make your meals very grounded and very solid and very satisfying, which opens up the door for actually optimizing your meal times and reducing them a little bit. Okay, so now you can actually try reducing the number of your meals. And why are we doing it? It's very simple. You basically don't want to eat a new meal before you've digested the previous one. So in Ayurveda, meal digestion in your system is considered a multi-phase process that your body goes through over 4 to 6 hours or maybe 8 hours, and it's best considered that you shouldn't touch it. And if you're able to do that, okay, if you eat pretty solid and meals that are satiating and are grounded, sort of, even psychologically you feel fulfilled after eating them, you will be able to reduce your snacking, or all your craving issues will certainly you'll be able to smoothen those issues out a little bit, and you might be able to control your number of meals too. Okay, but this, you need to try this once you've implemented the measures that we've spoken of. Okay, and what else? If you want to still try more things, you can try Ayurvedic appetizers. The most famous of which is a combination of ginger cubes and some lemon juice and Himalayan pink rock salt, which is sendha namak. This combination, you can eat a little bit of it before every meal, about 10 or 15 minutes before a meal, and it's a wonderful appetizer. It will get your digestive juices going, and it's an appetizer in the true sense of the word. Okay, so and beyond this, finally, I would say, if you want to try some Ayurvedic medicines, some popular ones for digestion at least are the drakshasa, which is basically a fermented tonic made from grapes. There's also your shilajit and ashwagandha. I'm sure you've heard of these things, but I would recommend you consult an Ayurvedic physician before taking them, because they'll guide you if for how long you should take them, or if they're suited to your body type. Maybe you're having an entirely different problem for which this particular solution might not be the best for you. So I would recommend speaking to an Ayurvedic doctor for this. Triphala is another one which you can ask advice about. It is really great at clearing your system and sort of resetting it. So it's worth trying out for a few weeks. But again, consult an Ayurvedic doctor. We would strongly recommend. So that's sort of it. In this short presentation, I really wanted to go through these topics which are at the crux of the digestion problems, which are ironically happening because you're eating healthy foods. Okay, we're not talking about digestion problems which are happening because you're eating fast food or junk food. These things are happening because you're trying to actually be healthy, and it's kind of backfiring for you. Okay, so quickly going over it once again, we spoke of staying away from your raw foods and green leafy vegetables and salads and sprouts too much. You really need to sort of look at it with suspicion with regards to your digestion. They might have great nutritional value, but if your stomach's not okay with it, it won't work for you for too long. And how do you treat it? Basically, you need to add ghee back into your food. You need to add cooking oils. Ghee should also be added to individual servings where it is suitable. It will really smoothen out your digestion issues. And how do you do it? You do it all within the context of caloric budgeting. You need to count your calories, and you need to understand the caloric mathematics of your food entirely. And then we talked about adding spices, and then grinding some of the more chunky foods, and sort of doing some mechanical alterations in your cooking for foods which might be causing constipation, or might be a little hard on your stomach. And then we spoke of the Ayurvedic appetizers, avoiding milk, and you can go for Ayurvedic medicines also under the consultation of an Ayurvedic doctor. So, of all these things that we've spoken of, I think you've heard of most of these things. The only one which might feel a little, a little difficult, a little out there is caloric tracking if you're not used to it. It's certainly not a part of traditional Indian culture, but it's a very, very powerful tool, and it's very easily doable and available now. Okay, and we have actually started a program, a special diet coaching program, just to help you introduce caloric tracking into your daily life. Okay, so it's a one-on-one coaching program set up to set up calorie tracking for your home cooked foods. We will teach you how to measure your food ingredients for each recipe, for each meal. How to measure the prepared recipe. How to use all these calorie tracking apps, how to measure the servings, and based on your lifestyle, we'll basically work out hacks and tricks so that this becomes smoothly doable on a daily basis. Okay, so that's the whole thing. We want you to gradually adapt and sort of see you through this process of introducing calorie tracking in your daily life, and we'll also teach you about caloric deficits and how to figure out how many calories you need to maintain weight and all these things. We also will help you and guide you with regards to supplementation. Basically, there's a lot of questions surrounding it. For example, should you consume protein supplementations and things like that? Now, our opinion is that supplementation can be very important for you, especially if you're trying to lose weight and in general for health and longevity as well. And on top of that, we are trying to apply Ayurvedic principles in helping you consume your supplements more easily, especially your macro supplements like protein and whey protein. Many people like their whey protein, but it causes some bloating or some stomach issues. So we also have come up with some methods which might help you consume a whey protein better, and we'll also advise you on other supplementation like vitamins and micronutrients that you might need as part of your daily diet. Supplementation is especially important if you're trying to lose weight, if you want to prevent some kind of a deficiency or any of these weight loss side effects to happen. Now, apart from our diet coaching program, our main flagship program is our weight loss program. Okay, so now it's very important to understand that once you've understood your food, that's great, and that is how you lose your weight. But it is not enough, because weight loss eventually, once you actually start losing weight, you'll also start seeing the side effects of weight loss. All right, if you don't take care. Generally, most people are never able to lose weight, and so they don't really realize that actually weight loss comes with a lot of side effects, especially if you're trying to drastically lose a lot of weight. So what are these side effects? The most primary one and the most dangerous one and the most difficult to recover from is basically muscle loss, and this might even go all the way and extend up to affecting your bones and your skeleton, and cause vitamin D deficiencies and calcium deficiencies. All kinds of problems can happen. Okay, and you really need to take care against it actively. We have an exercise program particularly focused on muscle preservation and muscle enhancement. Okay, we do not use exercise to make you lose weight. Okay, we are not doing it to burn calories. Okay, it is our belief, as it is said, that weight is lost in the kitchen, it is not lost in the gym, and that's a driving principle of our program also. But at the same time, you really need to preserve your muscle mass when you're trying to lose weight. We also have a very scheduled phase-based approach. We do not make you lose weight in one go. We break it down into scheduled phases, and after each phase we try to reset your system and re-normalize your body back to eating normal foods. Many times after a weight loss run, people start thinking that the food that was helping them lose weight is actually a normal diet. Okay, it's not a normal diet, it's a weight loss diet. It's actually making your body shrink. So you need to break that cycle from time to time, and so we use a phase-based approach, which we believe is the hallmark of a well-researched weight loss program. So, that's it. Thanks a lot for sticking around till the end. And if you're interested in if you're interested in our programs, if you've been struggling with weight loss and with food, and you really want to get the sort of the final solution to these problems, we strongly recommend you reach out to us. Our phone number is for WhatsApp is 999854150. Just WhatsApp us the message diet coaching or weight loss or something like that, and we'll reach out to you. We'll set up a one-time, maybe a 1 hour long one-on-one counseling session, all free of cost, and we'll discuss your problems with you. See what you can do about them. We'll also discuss our programs in more detail with you, the ones I've mentioned, as to what exactly do we do with them, and how they might suit you or they might not suit you, whatever it is, and you can take it from there. So once again, thanks a lot, and reach out to us. WhatsApp us on 99985 WhatsApp the message weight loss or diet coaching. Okay, thanks a lot, and all the best with your health goals.